The concrete handled on the project was carried in the 8 cubic yard buckets and transported from the mixing plants by electric train. A system of 9 aerial cableways spanning the canyon from rim to rim and anchored at either end to movable towers was utilized to carry the concrete and other materials from the points of train or truck delivery to the dam and other structures on the project. It was on June 6, 1933, that the first bucket of concrete was placed in the very lowest of the dam forms, 135 feet below the level where a few months previously had flowed the unchallenged Colorado River. What was to become the highest dam in the world began to rise from the impregnable rock of its foundation. As bucket after bucket of concrete was dumped into the forms, the plan of the structure became apparent and soon extended along its full 660 feet dimension of thickness at the base. Throughout the lower levels of the structure, concrete was placed from a trestle anchored to the Nevada wall of the canyon. The concrete was poured in keyed or interlocking columns, the design of which became more noticeable as the 5-foot layers or lifts in which the concrete was placed rose from level to level. As the work of placing progressed, the crews became expert in the handling of the equipment, and record-breaking daily pours were made, only to be surpassed by later achievements on this same structure. Transit mixers were transported on trucks, from the bed of which they could be removed and handled on the overhead cableways. These were used in the placement of concrete in the confined forms along the abutments, where the 8 cubic yard buckets could not be handled. Selecting at random one bucket from among the hundreds of thousands that traveled from the canyon rim, over the cableways and down into the dam forms, we see the typical operation from the time the bucket is picked up by the cableway on the canyon rim, swung out into midair over the gorge hundreds of feet above the forms, its tremendous weight of 22 tons riding easily and gracefully over the cable, as it is lowered into the forms with an ease and certainty seemingly out of proportion to its great bulk and tonnage. As the bucket descends, suspended at the end of hundreds of feet of cable strands, it is received at the forms, the safety locks unlatched, the signal given, and 8 more cubic yards of concrete added to the dam's bulk. Concrete was compacted into the forms by mechanical vibration, the application of which ensured dense compression against adjacent surfaces. Workmen were carried from the canyon rim to the dam forms by way of the inclined skidway, or monkey slide as it was called, which operated through the Nevada abutment excavation. Boulder Dam laborers represented a fair cross-section of the American working class, and many stayed on the job during the entire period of construction. With an ambitious progress schedule to meet, and with work going forward under all conditions at all seasons of the year without cessation, rain or shine, both day and night, within a year, less 4 days, 2 million of the 3 1/4 million cubic yards of the dam's total volume had been placed in the forms, and Boulder Dam had risen to an impressive height, already having taken its place as one of the wonders of the West and a tourist attraction of prime importance. Meanwhile, progress had been made in the erection of the structures appurtenant to the dam itself. The construction of the power plant, a U-shaped structure at the downstream toe of the dam, had been in progress for some months, and as its substructures assumed form, it gave some hint of the beauty it was later to possess. The intake towers, 2 on each side of the canyon wall immediately upstream from the dam, were in course of construction, and from a maze of reinforcing steel rapidly rising toward the uppermost rim of the canyon. These structures were later to serve as giant inlet valves for the outlet conduits and power penstock systems, and the placing of the seats for the mammoth cylinder gates was an important phase in their construction. Located at the ultimate high water storage level of the reservoir, the 2 spillways designed to act as overflow controls in the open bypass system were located one on each side of the river, upstream from the dam and within the reservoir area. Work on their construction progressed simultaneously with that of the dam itself. One of the most interesting and spectacular phases of the work was the fabrication and installation of the huge steel penstock pipes, forming the conduits for the power and pressure outlet systems. This work was performed by the Babcock and Wilcox Company of New York City, who erected a modern steel fabrication mill near the dam site to facilitate the undertaking. As the pipe units to be fabricated were of unprecedented size and weight, it was necessary to design, build, and install special machinery solely for this task. Provisions were made to manufacture pipe ranging in diameter from 8 1/2 to 30 feet, from steel plate varying in thickness from 5/8 of an inch to 2 3/4 inches. As it was impossible to ship units of this size across country by rail, steel plate was brought from eastern rolling mills, and the entire process of manufacture, including rolling and assembling, was initiated and completed at the Boulder Dam plant. First step in the fabrication process, after the plates had been laid out to dimension, was the shaping of the edges to ensure the precision and accuracy of later steps in their manufacture. This work was done on a planing machine capable of handling a strip of steel 50 feet in length. The plates were then given an initial bend on a giant press operating at a pressure of 3,000 tons. This initial bending was necessary to avoid damaging the rolls when the plates, in the next step of fabrication, were rolled into circular form. The plates entering into the manufacture of the 30-foot diameter penstock pipe were fabricated through the initial steps of manufacture in 11-foot widths. These plates were 2 3/4 inches in thickness and were rolled into circular form by being passed through 40-inch vertical rolls until the desired degree of curvature had been obtained. One such plate represented a segment equal to 1/3 of the complete circumference of a finished pipe. Having been rolled to the correct degree of curvature, the 3 curved plates were joined to form a single ring, 30 feet in diameter and 11 feet long. 2 such rings were then joined end to end to form a shop unit 22 feet long. All joints were made by electric welding, and in forming the longitudinal joints, an automatic welding machine traveling on a chassis supported in line over the joint was used. As these pipe units were of a size never before assembled, it became necessary to design and build special machinery to accomplish many phases of the work. This was especially true in the fabrication of mitered rings to be later assembled into bend sections. The general usage of electric cutting and welding was applied not only to pipe sections, but to the manufacture of other fabricated units as well. A complete shop unit weighed from 150 to 184 tons, depending upon its design determined by its ultimate use upon installation in the power penstock system. Circumferential joints were made by rotating the rings, making up a shop unit beneath an electric welding machine suspended above the line of the joint to be welded. Every foot of welded joint was subjected to a searching examination by X-ray and recorded on photographic film, which exposed even the slightest imperfections in the continuity of the weld. Samples of typically welded joints were subjected to severely rigid laboratory tests, calculated to produce a condition of strain far in excess of that to be borne by the joint under actual usage. The discovery of even the slightest imperfection was sufficient cause for the rejection of a complete unit. In marked contrast to the meticulous care and precision exercised throughout every phase of their manufacture was the actual size and weight of the pipe units themselves. Heavy-duty rigging of special design was required to handle the sections through the shop, and high-capacity cranes were required to move them step by step through the progressive phases of their manufacture. To equalize the terrific internal strains introduced into the plates by bending and the additional temperature strains incurred during welding, individual pipe sections were subjected to a temperature of 1400 degrees Fahrenheit in a gigantic annealing furnace. This temperature was induced not by the application of flame itself, but through the circulation of superheated gas. Shop processes were carried only as far as the production of the unit section. As these sections were to be joined to form a continuous penstock, provision was made to accurately accomplish this junction in the tunnels. To guarantee a satisfactorily tight field joint, the ends of the sections were machined on a mammoth vertical lathe, operating across the 30-foot diameter of the pipe. After a final inspection, the pipe section was ready for installation. A modern streamlined train passing through one of the huge tubes affords an interesting gauge for the comparative size of the units. The job of transporting the pipe sections from the plant to the dam site was in itself a tremendous undertaking. And to accomplish this work, a special road trailer capable of carrying 200 tons was designed and built. Caterpillar tractors furnished the motive power, as the trailer itself was not equipped with the means of locomotion. During handling, the conformation of the pipe section was maintained by rigid internal bracing. The movement of the heavy trucks was controlled by air brakes and power steering apparatus, with which the trailer itself was equipped. Upon arrival at the canyon rim, directly over the dam site, the unit was maneuvered into position for lowering into the canyon. To perform this task and to handle other heavy equipment, a permanent 200-ton capacity cableway had been swung over the gorge, its 6 3.5-inch track cables securely anchored into the rock of the canyon wall. The cableway was manipulated from a control tower overhanging the canyon, from which the operator commanded a full view of all its movements. The heavy hoisting machinery, controlled by synchronized motors, was the largest and most powerful of its kind ever built, as were also the track cables themselves, which spanned the canyon a distance of 1,256 feet at an elevation of 700 feet above the river from the head tower located on the Nevada side. Over the track cables traveled the carriage through which the hoisting and traveling cables were played. A specially designed heavy-duty rig, which became known to the workmen as the moonbeam, because of its peculiar shape and from which the pipe sections were suspended, was used in lowering the huge tubes into the low levels of the canyon while cradled in a sling of heavy steel cable. After all lashings were secure, the pipe section was lifted from the trailer to begin its slow and carefully controlled movement over the cableway, riding from the rim out into space, suspended 700 feet above its ultimate position. When the cable carriage with its tremendous weight of steel had been maneuvered into location over the intended landing far below, the hoisting cables were slowly played out and the pipe lowered under absolute control into the canyon. Here, a second specially designed car waited at the portal of the access tunnel to relieve the cableway of its burden and carry the pipe section underground to become a part of the extensive conduit system penetrating the cliffs on both sides of the canyon. With the workmen laboring in the tunnels far underground, the gargantuan task of placing the penstock pipes in position to form continuous conduits between the intake towers and the powerhouse and outlet works was accomplished. The separate units were hoisted into location with the aid of cables, and once placed in position, were joined with pressure pins to form a continuous pipe. While work on the appurtenant features of the Boulder Canyon project was in progress, an uninterrupted stream of concrete had been pouring into the forms of the dam from both mixing plants. Progress was curtailed only by the limitations of sound engineering and construction practice. Day by day, week after week, the top workings of the structure approached its full height of 730 feet, far above the crest of any other dam yet built by man, or likely to be built for years to come. Schedules established at the outset of the work were left far behind, as the concrete of the dam narrowed toward its crest and the structure widened between its abutments, approaching the very top rims of the canyon. In June 1935, the dam structure itself stood completed, 2.5 years in advance of the time originally designated. In September of the same year, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, voicing high praise for both designers and builders, dedicated Boulder Dam to the progress of the nation. As final construction work was completed, the impressive beauty of the structure became apparent. The roadway traversing its 1,300-foot crest forms a magnificent link in a transcontinental highway. The reservoir filling behind the dam was named Lake Mead in memory of Dr. Elwood Mead, late Commissioner of Reclamation, whose life work culminated in the building of Boulder Dam. The largest artificial body of water in the world, it extends upstream 115 miles into the lower reaches of the Grand Canyon, with a shoreline of 550 miles opening upon vistas unglimpsed by man until invaded by the gradually rising waters of the reservoir. Equipped with cylindrical gates which function as giant valves, the 4 intake towers serve as inlets to the 4 steel penstocks, supplying water to the turbines and outlet valves. Perched on shelves hewn into the canyon walls, they tower 403 feet to an elevation above the crest of the dam and the rim of the canyon. With a combined capacity of 400,000 cubic feet of water per second, the 2 spillways, located one on each side of the canyon upstream from the dam, will serve as high-level controls once the water of the reservoir has risen to its maximum storage elevation. Each spillway is equipped with 4 100-foot drum gates, acting through a vertical dimension of 16 feet. Water flowing over the lowered gates into the spillway basin plunges 600 feet down through the tunnels to re-enter the river downstream from the dam. The Boulder Dam power plant is built in two wings, one along each side of the canyon wall at the downstream toe of the dam. The first generator was placed in operation on September 11, 1936. Equipped with 17 generating units with capacities ranging 40,000 to 82,500 kilovolt amperes, this, the world's largest power plant, is capable of generating 1,835,000 horsepower of electrical energy when operating at its rated capacity. The transmission lines carrying Boulder Dam power radiate in a network from the dam with the major lines serving the Los Angeles metropolitan area. From the takeoff structure located on the roof of the powerhouse, the lines are taken up over the rim of the canyon into the switchyard above, where the most highly specialized and modern developments in the power transmission field are to be found. From the switchyard, the lines travel out across the desert, bringing light to the homes and cities and power to the factories of Southwest. From Parker Dam, 150 miles to the south, the Colorado River Aqueduct supplies the city of Los Angeles with a domestic and industrial water supply. While from the Imperial Dam, 300 miles to the south, the All-American Canal diverts water from the Colorado River into the rich agricultural districts of the Imperial Valley. And so Boulder Dam stands today, a modern colossus, shouldering the rock-ribbed walls of Black Canyon, stemming and controlling the floods, and bending the will of a hitherto ungovernable stream, the Colorado River, to perform the fruitful tasks of a civilization rapidly invading the limits of its last frontier.
No, things weren't what Bill had hoped for, in more ways than one. Bill's kid brother was still in China. His letters all read the same.
I'm fed up with this mess. We're still training the Chinese. Thought the war was over. This place gives me the creeps. Kids hang around our garbage cans, waiting for us to clean our plates, while their own government big shots take their cut of UNRWA supplies. What a deal. What goes on here?
Bill was wondering too. He believed in the war as a great struggle against the enemies of the common people. But he was finding out now that not all his enemies were on the Axis side. Strange facts about the war were coming out. In 1942, we wanted to land in France. But Churchill pressed for a campaign in Italy to save Britain's interests in the Mediterranean. Still playing power politics, he pulled troops out of Italy and sent them off to Greece to fight on the king's side against the people.
Diversion of 8th Army units to meet the political crisis in Greece disrupted our plans. The Germans had time to refit and strengthen their forces.
American lives were sacrificed to pay for a Greek government the people didn't want. All this apparently seems quite normal to Congress. Roosevelt's old enemies are again making government policy. They are the friends of big business, the men who believe in atomic diplomacy. The president himself shared the platform at an American university with Winston Churchill when he called for an Anglo-American alliance against Russia. Is this what millions of men died for?
But we of the United Nations are not making all this sacrifice of human effort and human lives to return to the kind of world we had after the last World War.
When Bill walked on the picket line the morning of January 15th, he was fighting for the decent standard of living that Roosevelt had pledged in the Economic Bill of Rights. The right to a job, to food and clothing, to fair prices, to protection against monopolies, the right to a decent home, medical care, a good education, the right to economic security. Bill fought for this new Bill of Rights as part of a mighty CIO struggle against the economic royalists. At the National Labor Management Conference, CIO President Philip Murray had sought tenaciously for recognition of the need for wage increases and of price control. Within a week, 1.5 million CIO workers were on strike. Auto, steel, packers, communication, farm equipment, all fighting for a decent America. Lynn, Massachusetts, Ontario, California, Fairmont, West Virginia, Fort Wayne, Indiana, Jersey City, Detroit, Pittsburgh, Schenectady, Philadelphia, plant after plant, town after town, from coast to coast, the picket lines grew. Big lines and little. The machinery of strike committees functioned like clockwork, and the UE strike was solid 100%. In bitter January weather, there was fire for cold hands and feet, hot coffee and hot food for weary union fighters. The support of the strike was magnificent. There were plenty of attempts at provocation, but the picket lines were solid. The most significant phase of the UE strike was the tremendous community support it received. Dozens of mayors and dozens of city governments and dozens of congressmen supported those on strike. Typical was Lynn, Massachusetts, where the mayor sent a letter to GE.
I have talked personally with many of the workers. I have listened to their arguments, and I must say that their demands seem reasonable and just under all present-day circumstances.
The townspeople agreed with the mayor. Druggist Flaherty offered free medicines. The shoemaker offered shoe repairs. In fact, the whole community pitched in. This was something new for a GE town.
Adequate buying power is necessary to sustain the business life of the community, to enable property owners to pay taxes, to enable a city to conduct its municipal government on the basis of solvency and service.
The interests of the community and the interests of the workers were one. The justice of the union position was obvious. The companies could not conceal the truth. The union waged one of the greatest publicity campaigns in trade union history. It used ads, radio, records, and sound trucks. The UE beat the companies at their own game. The people could not be divided. The union could not be isolated. Its strike machinery stood up, and Jim Matley's national director of organization for once was satisfied.
When the companies fail to isolate us from the communities, they try to smash us by the use of injunctions. Injunctions is the most reactionary weapon used by employers to break a strike. They have been repudiated by the American people and by Congress through the Norris-LaGuardia Act. But employers use the injunctions to mobilize the police power of the state to undermine and break a strike. Even the Army and the Navy has been used for the purpose of breaking strike. An injunction is an illegitimate offspring of an undemocratic government and a reactionary employer in the name of law and order. It leads to violence, as in the case of Philadelphia.
In Philadelphia on March 1st, an ominous concentration of police shadowed the peaceful picketing and parading of UE members. An injunction had been granted against picketing. The company thought it had won a major step towards breaking the strike. UE locals in Philadelphia and Camden organized a protest parade, an orderly parade, headed by their country's flag, in the hands of a veteran of the German campaign. To the tune of the Star-Spangled Banner, while everyone stood at attention. But when the parade started, trouble began. The flag was torn from the hands of the veteran. The veteran was beaten. It was said later, in excuse, that the police lost their heads. They certainly lost them in an organized manner. This is the result of having irresponsible officials in the city halls, the state capitals, and in Washington. When violence failed, the companies gave in. Big business was stopped. The strikes were won and the contracts were safe in the hands of Secretary-Treasurer Julius Emspach.
Yes, big business was stopped. With the CIO in the forefront, labor and the people won the first round. But big business is not giving up. It is starting a new offensive. Prices have zoomed. What we won in the strikes is being stolen back from us through a big business Congress. Where are we going? Well, you know what a company town looks like. With this Congress re-elected, we'll have a company country with company housing, company stores, company unions, company discrimination. We'll have unemployment at home and ultimately war abroad. There is only one answer. Vote and vote right. Canvassing, registering, voting. Sustained organized effort of every local in its community. community political action will hold the gains of the picket lines. Millions of enlightened ballots must be cast. We must elect a progressive Congress. Prosperity and even peace itself depend upon it. But behind each ballot is a person, a woman, a man.
Bill Turner went to town to save the OPA. It was little help. The Tafts and the Byrds, the Hoffmans and the Rankins, big business Republicans and Democrats and their flunkies from the South, they fixed the OPA, like they fixed FEPC, like they fixed full employment, like they fixed minimum wages, like they fixed the Hobbs bill, like they fixed too many things in that year of disgrace, 1946. And Bill could see rising prices ahead. And he could see more strikes. And he was grim.
From these children are protected. Concrete walls help stop radioactivity. Any wall stops the heat. The heat scorches the house, but does not harm the children. Any solid gives some protection. The thicker it is, the better. We have the national defenses to intercept an enemy, and we all form a team to help each other through emergencies. You are on that team. So is your family, each member of it. And in your community, every doctor, fireman, every policeman and nurse, every lineman and operator, every civil defense worker, in fact, every community employee is ready to help you if you need him. So your community is prepared for emergencies and ready to help other communities. We have state and national headquarters for civil defense. And your city has a civil defense corps. We have a warning system and a system of defense. Yes, we have the equipment and the people for an effective team. But, like any team, it can win only when everyone knows his job and does it well. What is your job? What if a warning siren sounds? What should you do? Look for cover, the nearest cover. Don't try to make it home unless home is the nearest place to go. Don't hesitate. Find cover. Everyone is in on this. Strangers will understand. Finding shelter quickly may save your life. If you can't get into a house, get behind a wall or a steep embankment on the side away from the city. Civil defense teams will go into action immediately. If you're home, you've work to do.
Hi, Susie. Everything's fine upstairs. How you doing here?
Okay, I guess.
That's good.
We repeat, cover windows to protect against the possibility of broken glass, heat, and radioactivity. Turn off fires. If you are home and are not assigned to civil defense duties, go to your prepared shelter. Those who are in shopping centers, go to prepared shelters
fire in the
immediately.
kitchen's out. Now we'll go down the basement.
In this practice alert, we are assuming that the attack will come on the waterfront area.
See, it's just practice. All this rushing around for nothing.
Now, there's just where you're wrong. We need this practice. Now, come on, let's do our job.
That's good thinking. We all need practice. Here's a clean, well-prepared shelter in the basement. Ted and Sue have a battery radio, and they have soda ash and stirrup pump fire extinguishers. They have other emergency supplies too, a flashlight, a well-equipped first aid kit with plenty of bandages, tape and scissors. A Red Cross first aid book, a few cans of food, a good supply of water, blankets, and an electric lantern in reserve.
You know, Susie, this stuff would come in handy on a camping trip.
I'd a lot rather be on a camping trip. Say, what would we do if we didn't have a basement?
At school, they told us we should be away from windows and behind double walls. You know, like an inside hall.
Ted's right. If you live in an apartment house, you can't all go to the basement. Head for a shelter area. If none is marked for you, find cover away from windows and in a hallway if possible. Wait for the all clear. Be calm. If you're on the playground, run for shelter. If you're in the schoolyard, get into the building. Move quickly, but in good order. Inside, go to the shelter area you've been assigned. Take your place on the floor. Here's one good way to protect your eyes and neck in case of a bombing. Wait for the all clear. So far, you've been watching a practice drill. But what if there is a bombing that comes without warning? What is your job then? Find cover immediately. Don't look at the flash. Stretch out. In about 1 minute, the immediate danger is past. Then head for safer cover. Another bomb may fall. Get indoors if you can. Shed your outer garments. They may have radioactive particles on them. If you're home, take shelter and stay down for about 1 minute. By then, the danger from radioactivity, heat, and blast have passed. Protect your eyes and neck.
Let's get things shut up.
Sue found shelter under her bed.
It's dead. Let's get the battery set.
When the house current is off, that battery radio is essential. Keep tuned in.
The airburst of 3:01 p.m. was zeroed on Union Station. Heavy damage extends from about 14th Street north to as far south as the waterfront.
You know, we're lucky. That blast was miles
Stay
from there.
under cover unless you have civil defense to... I've just been handed a bulletin. There's been an underwater burst at the waterfront. Water thrown up by the bomb is falling as mist and rain, and it is radioactive. Avoid this radioactive mist and rain.
What does he mean by radioactive mist?
According to what Dad said, the radioactivity gets into the mist and rain. And if the mist or rain gets on you, it's apt to make you very sick.
What would you do about it?
I'd scrub thoroughly with a detergent and water.
What's a detergent?
It's something like Mom uses when she washes dishes and clothes.
Don't drink tap water. It may be contaminated.
Ted and Sue are waiting for the all clear.
I'll see who it is. Hello, who's there?
It's your block warden, Mr. Carlson.
Come on in, Mr. Carlson.
Hello, Ted.
Hello.
Ted, this is Mr. Franklin, our radiological monitor. He's here to check for any radioactivity. I saw your mother down the shopping center. She's fine. Well, there's no damage here.
No, it's been very good here.
Hello, Sue.
Say, have you seen my dad lately?
He's down at headquarters, and boy, he's really busy.
Yeah?
Well, there's no radioactivity here.
Say, Mr. Franklin, is that a pen on your coat there?
Oh, no, that's a dosimeter.
A dosimeter? What's a dosimeter?
Well, it measures the amount of radioactivity that I've been exposed to. But this is the meter that I use to check with.
Say, Mr. Carlson, is there anything I can do outside to help?
No, Ted, everything is under control. You just stay here till the all-clear signal is given. You've done a good job.
Thank you, Mr. Carlson.
Bye, Stu.
Bye.
A good job. That's what everyone must do to be safe. Doing a good job means simply following the rules in an alert or an attack and waiting until all is clear again. In this early and troubled stage of the atomic age, our very lives may depend on always being alert.
Hey, not bad. You kids really poured it on. Hi, I'm Gene Douglas, and that's part of my freshman track team. The boys are really working very hard. Say, maybe you'd like to meet some of them. Well, there's Bill. He's going out for the high jump. And Jim, the broad jump and sprints, too. Mike is #1 boy at the shot put right now. He's a pretty good distance runner, too. But Ben's clocked the best time for the 440 so far. Pole vault is George's specialty, but he's giving the high jump a good try, too. And Pete, well, he's trying most everything right now. They make a pretty fair team. Anyway, they're sure trying hard enough.
Hey, Coach,
Yeah?
I twisted my ankle.
Oh, is it bad?
I don't think so.
Well, see me inside, will you?
Okay.
Okay. That's it for today. Everybody inside. Come on. Here. Let's take a look. How'd you do it?
I was taking a jump and I landed sideways in.
Yeah, I can see. Well, I'll put an elastic bandage around it. I'll take a look at it and see how it is tomorrow. Okay?
Why does this always have to happen to me? Some guys never get hurt.
Ah, you're just having a little bad luck.
Yeah, but why me? Look at Mike. He never gets hurt.
Well, he's built a little different from you, Pete. He's developed earlier.
Yeah, but why? He's not any older than I am.
It's not just how old you are. Kids develop at different times.
Hey, Coach, is Mickey Mouse here going to live?
Mickey Mouse, listen, you big...
All right. Take it easy. You better get your clothes on. Okay. That Mike. He's sure filling out. And it won't be long before Pete starts putting on some weight, too. In fact, all these kids are starting to develop now. They're all around 14, 15 years old. And there'll be a lot of changes taking place.
Say, did you do your homework? What homework? You know, your math. Oh, that? Sure. I couldn't get the last one. Oh, great. That's the one I was wondering about. Say, what happened to your fade? Oh, this? Cut myself shaving. Yeah? Maybe I'll start shaving soon. Come on, we better get a move on or we'll be late for class.
Yes, shaving is part of it. And there were still other changes. Some of these things most kids knew about, while others didn't.
Hey, you know something?
No, what?
I had a wet dream last night.
Wet dreams? What's that?
Oh, you know, some sperm comes out of your penis.
Sperm?
Yeah, sort of a sticky stuff. Guy's part of a baby. Didn't your brother ever tell you about that?
No. He never says much about anything. So that means you can start a baby.
It was something new to Bill, this business of nocturnal emissions, just as a lot of other things were new. Growing up is a time of change. Everything seems to happen at once.
The coat said it's glands. Well, you get those from your parents.
Hey, what is this? You all taking the afternoon off?
Hey, Coach, didn't you say it was glands that made guys different?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, today in biology class, Mr. Davis said we're all different because of our parents.
That's right. I meant the way your body develops at puberty.
Puberty? What's that?
Well, that'd take a little explaining. Maybe later, huh?
Yeah, but when?
Well, how about after practice this afternoon?
Sure, great.
Okay, but we've got work to do now. Come on, let's get out there. Come on, fellas. So that afternoon in the locker room, I started answering some of the boys' questions.
Hey, you having a meeting?
No, just talking. Sit down if you want to. Let's see, where was I? Oh, yes. Well, each of us is different from the day we're born. No two people are exactly alike. Some of those differences are inherited from our parents.
See? I said so.
Then at puberty, certain glands begin to work, and our bodies begin to change.
But where are these glands? Yeah. And what's puberty?
Well, puberty? Well, puberty's a lot of things. Mainly, though, it's a time of change. For you, it means your bodies are changing from boys to men.
You mean like having to shave? Say, when's a guy start shaving anyway?
Oh, there isn't any special age. You're all going to start at different times. That's because everybody matures according to his own body's rules. In general, everybody grows broader in the shoulders, the ribs, and the pelvis. Your arm and leg bones grow longer, and so does your back, from the neck to the buttocks. But everybody doesn't develop at the same time, or in the same way. Jim, for instance, is bigger all over than you, Pete, but that just means he started filling out earlier. You'll catch up. George now is growing tall instead of filling out. Mike is more like Jim. Ben will be tall, probably, and big all over. Well, everybody is just naturally a little different.
Yeah, but where do these glands come in?
Well, it's the sex glands, or testes, that actually get these changes going. Here, maybe a diagram will help. Here's the penis and the scrotum that holds the testicles or testes inside. Now, when you're around 14, maybe sooner, maybe later, the testes start making a chemical substance called a hormone. It's this hormone that causes the changes. It enlarges the penis itself and starts hair growing here and under your arms and on your face. It even affects your voice, makes it deeper. It also makes you grow thicker or taller or both.
That hormone, is that what you call sperm?
No, sperm is something else. Sperm is made in the testes too. Do you all know what sperm is?
Yeah, it's the guy's part of the baby, isn't it?
That's right.
But how does it get out from the testicles?
Through tubes here. There's one from each testicle. Goes up, down again, through a storage place, and out into the penis. Now, when the penis erects, gets hard, the sperm can come out in what's called an ejaculation.
Not every time, though.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, sometimes the penis gets hard without, well...
Oh, without an ejaculation of sperm? Oh, yes, that's right. You see, all an erection is an increase in blood in the penis, which is made up mostly of spongy. Now, when something excites us sexually, this tissue fills up with blood, and the whole organ is extended or hard, erect.
Sometimes that just happens by itself, doesn't it? You know, like in the morning?
Oh, yes, you don't have to be thinking about sex to have an erection. Pressure from a full bladder can cause it, or rhythmic movements of the body, horseback riding, say. Yes, George?
Does an erection, well, does that mean you have too much sperm? And you ought to get rid of it?
Get rid of it? No. But sometimes your body will do that by itself. At night. It's called a nocturnal emission, or wet dream. Then you can cause an ejaculation by yourself, too, by masturbating, rubbing the penis. Sometimes you hear that masturbation affects your mind or your manhood. It isn't true. For kids your age, it's just something normal.
Does that? Well, I was told it had something to do with pimples and stuff. Is that right?
No. No, you see, when you reach puberty and all these changes start taking place, there are a lot of glands involved. Not just the sex glands. For instance, there's one in the back of the brain called the pituitary. And then there are the thyroid glands here in the neck. Now, some things about these glands are still a mystery. But we do know that a hormone from one can affect the others. And in a lot of people your age, this may partly cause skin trouble.
Well, what can you do about it?
Oh, if it really bothers you, you should see a doctor. He'll tell you what to do. It can be cleared up pretty well these days. Hey, it's about time.
Hey, could we go on with this tomorrow?
Yeah, how about it?
Sure, okay. Come on down early, huh? Oh, yes, there were still plenty of questions. And as usual, some guys thought they knew all the answers.
And so the dope pushes her into the water. Boy, did she get mad. Maybe she was having her period or something.
Oh, that doesn't make any difference. My sister goes swimming when she's having her period.
Period? What's that?
Yeah, no, menstrual period. Don't you know what that is?
No.
Say, somebody ought to give you guys the word.
Okay, wise guy, what is it?
Hey, what's going on here?
Well, these goofballs had never heard of a menstrual period, and I was trying to tell them.
And he didn't know what he was talking about either.
Yeah. Okay, simmer down. Have a seat. I brought some charts. Maybe this'll help. The female reproductive system and fertilization.
Hey, look. Pollywog.
Now, wait a minute. These are sperm cells. But let's start from the beginning. Menstruation is just one part of a whole series of things that take place in the female sex system. It's arranged something like this. The vagina that opens out between the legs, the uterus, or womb, a pair of tubes, and 2 sex glands, or ovaries. Now, about once every month, these glands produce an egg cell, or ovum, which passes along one of these tubes to the uterus.
An egg? You mean like a chicken egg?
No, not exactly. It's very small. You'd need a microscope to get a really good look at it. It's like a chicken egg in one way, though. If it's fertilized by a male sperm cell, it'll grow into a baby. Here in the uterus. First, the uterus grows a lining which would take and feed the egg if it were fertilized. But when it's not fertilized, it disintegrates. And it and the lining and some blood pass out through the vagina. And this is called menstruation. Yes, Pete?
When does a girl start having these periods?
When she reaches puberty, around 13.
That means she can have a baby then?
Yes, that's right. Just like you can become fathers as soon as your testes start making sperm. Here. This is what happens when the egg is fertilized. The sperm meets the egg in this tube. Then the fertilized egg becomes attached to the uterus wall. And the cells multiply and grow into a baby.
Yeah, but how's it get there? You know, not just the sperm and egg stuff. I mean, well, what really happens?
Oh, what you want to know about is sexual intercourse. Well, that happens like this. Here. Here's a cross-section of the vagina. The erect penis enters here, and rhythmic movements, a pumping back and forth, causes an ejaculation from the penis. Some of the sperm swim up here, through the uterus, and on into the tube, where they may or may not meet an egg cell. If one does, then the egg is fertilized and settles down here in the uterus and grows into a baby. About 9 months later, the baby is born through the vagina. This is how we all came into the world.
Yeah, but babies and all that. That's not all you go out with girls for, is it?
No, you're right. Going out with girls is fun. When you get older, you probably want to get married and start a family.
Say, when should a guy start going around with girls?
Oh, there's no real answer to that. Whenever you feel like it, I guess. Maybe the first time you'll want to ask someone to a party or a dance. Maybe you'll need a partner. But there's no special age. Just like there isn't any special reason for taking a girl out. Most guys just like female company. Well, that's it for today, fellas. Let's get out to practice, huh? The fellas were pretty busy all spring, working out for the team and with their schoolwork. But they had time for other things, too.
Say, how would you and Barbara like to go swimming tomorrow?
We'd love to.
Jim and I thought we'd go over the lagoon.
Hey, that'd be swell. Hey, why don't we all bring something to eat? We could stay all day. Okay, I'll bake something. Hey, great. How about a big old chocolate cake? Oh, I don't know. We can try.
Well, anyway, we'll start about 9, okay?
Wow. Bye.
This coffee? Well, no. This is coffee. Our story begins here with coffee. Its flavor caught in the closed fist of the bean, freed then by the grinding mills in an endless cascade, brewed into a beverage that is consumed in the hundreds of millions of cupfuls each day. In this beverage that has become so much a part of our lives, there is a background, a tradition that reaches deeply into the culture of many lands. Its beginning under warm tropical sun, the care and attention to which it is treated during its journey from tree to cup. The many processes it must undergo are all devoted to creating good coffee, with with its secrets of aroma and body and taste, to which the talents of millions of men are devoted during their lifetime, to which tradition, rich in the lore of centuries and faraway places, sets its fine hand to bring these three elements into precise flavor. The tastes of fine coffee extend over a wide range, but for each palate, there is a flavor that is just right. Around the world, they drink this beverage in its many exotic forms. A dream of Paris, expressed in café au lait, a continental favorite, half coffee and half hot milk. Canals of Venice and the romance of cappuccino, like café au lait, but topped with whipped cream and a sprinkle of grated orange peel. The music of old Vienna in a cup. Viennese coffee, often spiced, but always with a drift of whipped cream. Mystery of Istanbul and the eastern lands in Turkish coffee, foam hiding the rich, sweet brew. The vigor of Latin American coffees, dark and zesty, served black in tiny cups with plenty of sugar. But always, it is coffee. How then do we make the perfect cup of coffee to our taste? Success lies in a single word: care. 3 simple ingredients go into the brewing process: water, coffee, time. Care will produce a perfect result every time. The beginning is the coffee pot, and there are as many varieties and types as taste will dictate. Yet, each is intended to do the same thing in a different way, to produce perfection in a coffee cup. To make a good cup of coffee, your coffee maker must be clean, free from all remembrances of that last pot of coffee, ready to begin its work anew, fresh and really clean. Water. Into 100,000 pots an hour, water flows in the coffee making process. Water. Too much or too little? Boiled first or later, or not at all? For how long? And yet, there is only one correct way. Water, the first element,